Welcome back, guys. We are now headed into our second game of the group stage. I'm Vince, joined by Dust. We're going to have a bit of a talk before the game gets started. The players are on the server warming up, getting themselves ready for the confrontation. But we do have Tyloo and the ninjas in pajamas coming at you. Dust, any thoughts about this matchup? Obviously, we do have Pitta coming in as a replacement as Dennis couldn't make it. I think it's just for the first day, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. So that obviously throws a big wrench in things, right? These teams don't really have much of a head-to-head history. The last time they played against each other was Tyloo's old lineup that had like DD and Mo or AE, which was like the CS:GO Asian Championships and the Face It Major, things of that nature. NIP has generally gotten the better of Tyloo in the past, but there's definitely been some close games in their history. And Tyloo did beat them in a best of three in the CS:GO Asia Championships in the middle of last year. Also, with Peta coming in as a stand-in, that could certainly give Tyloo a little bit of an edge. Tyloo comes into this looking a little bit weak, if I'm honest. Like, they made a pretty drastic roster change right before the IM Katowice major, and they did not do very well at that major. They lost in the challenger stage, weren't able to make it to the top 8 or anything of that like. And there's been several events they were unable to even qualify for, like Cologne and Sydney. They were losing to teams like Vici and VPPK, so they're starting to kind of lose their number one ranking even within Asia, to be honest. And they went out really fast at the Starlighter Season 7 finals. So they really haven't had a whole lot going for them except for, I guess, qualifying for the EPL finals, where they beat the likes of Lucid Dream, like you saw earlier, and MVPPK to make those finals. But that's really about it, man. Like, it's not been great. There's even been rumors that they're making a roster change soon with, like, Freeman, who used to play for Vici, coming into the team possibly soon. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to think about them.
Yeah, they're a bit of a question mark, and they slipped down the ratings as well. I believe you said they're in the 30s now. Is that correct? Like
Yes.
35, 34, somewhere around there.
Yep.
One
Like
point they
37 is
were
the actual number.
37. Yeah. At one point, I think they were a team that was definitely in the running for like a top 20, top 15 slot even.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They
And
really were.
so how they've fallen down, but as you say, obviously with Pitta, is it Pitta or Peter?
I actually don't know. I just think pita, like pita bread. Like, I don't know what else to say.
So in England we call it pita bread, so that's the thing. I guess maybe a difference in American versus English.
I'm gonna Let's just agree on one, and if we're both wrong, then we go down together, and if we're both right, then we raise up together. We're a team, mate. We have to stick together. We can't split this up and one be right, one be wrong. We've got to commit
Yeah.
one way.
I'll try going Peter then, but
Okay.
I have a feeling it would be an E instead of an I. But whatever, we'll just as you say.
So we're going pizza.
Yeah, Peter.
Let's
But
do it.
the reason we're bringing this up obviously is Dennis isn't here now. Dennis has had a bit of a tumultuous time with Nip. At one point, he was having very poor performances, took a step back. Now he's back, and since he's been back, he's had some pretty big performances, some pretty impressive stuff. So how much do you think this actually affects Nip? Because obviously he is their coach. He does have a good bearing on what they do. He knows what they're going to be coming up with. But do they lose a huge amount of firepower here?
I don't know if they lose a lot of firepower. I mean, the main fraggers on this team seem to be Rez and Forrest and maybe Lekro to a degree. I think what Dennis was important for, though, was kind of setting up other players. You know, he was kind of the guy that would sometimes go in first and create space for someone like Rez to follow up on. They were kind of an entry duo. So that's a tough role for Peta to have to take up if indeed it's just going to be kind of a one-to-one replacement. Also, in some regards, Dennis could do some primary opping on the CT side of some maps, whereas Forrest is kind of more of their T side op. I imagine Forrest will just take over opping overall now with Peta on board. Though I guess he was already kind of starting to transition in that direction anyway. Maybe that just kind of speeds up the process. And yeah, I mean, Nip needed a pretty big result here, to be honest, because I mean they had a pretty good run at Sydney, and they did okay at Starlighter Season 7. They would occasionally take maps off of top 10 teams, but not win too many big series, but would kind of beat some of the teams that are middling, like a North or something like that. I know they beat Renegades at Sydney, for example, which actually they did have their full lineup at that event. So it's a pretty good win to take a series off of Renegades. But other than that, they've had a lot of group stage exits in recent times. Were at least able to make top 8 at the last major, though. That was a pretty big result, only losing to Astralis in the quarterfinals. So they're a team that's certainly, I mean, I think they're ranked 8th right now in the world. I think my biggest problem with NIP is while they play good Counter-Strike as far as team play and tactics, they just don't really have that much consistent star power. So I feel like they kind of get bullied around based on pure firepower whenever they play against top 5 teams. Yeah, they have Rez, who can be quite good, but sometimes he goes missing, and Forrest is solid, but I mean, he's a veteran. He's not meant to be a young, flashy star player. So I feel like that's where they miss, and they're going to miss it even more with PETA on board, I think. I think I read that PETA hasn't played an official match of Counter-Strike since 2017 or something crazy like that.
So it certainly has been a while. I mean, not everyone is... But I believe the battleground is going to be Dust2 here. So it's like DreamHack Tour all over again, Dust. We're getting flashbacks. We casted it 3 times in a row on the first day, guys. We're all a bit salty. But either way, how do you think this map comes down for both Tyloo and Nip? Does this make you feel like one team is edged over the other?
Yeah, it's hard to know because, I mean, obviously with the whole PETA thing, that you have to factor that in. Nip don't have the best record on LAN on Dust2. It's actually kind of towards the lower end of their map pool. They're much better on maps like Nuke or Overpass, or Train in particular has been really strong for them. But they have had some key wins over teams like Navi and Optic, and a lot of their losses are to really strong teams. Like they lost to a Strauss a couple of times on Dust2, FaZe, Fnatic, so it's not like they lose to slouches. Meanwhile, Tyloo, when it comes to their Dust2 so far with this team, they're also not that great in the LAN environment. They're 1-3 offline with this lineup. Do a little bit better online within their region. So I'm actually kind of surprised it came down to Dust2 in the end. I mean, I think it's just a traditional, like, each team gets 3 bans, it comes down to 1 map. So I would have thought that maybe we would have seen Train or Overpass or something.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised at this too, but maybe again it's sort of a Vertigo effect where before Nuke would almost be the insta-ban for most teams, but now that Vertigo is in a best of 1, leaving that potential loaded gun on the table is something that many teams don't want to even deal with, especially, as you said before, when we have the lower bracket system in place here. If you roll a dice and you go all in on like a Vertigo and you lose, well, you've got a massive uphill climb from there on out, but I believe that's enough talking from us on the build-up, because I think we're getting ready here. There's just got to restart in. It looks like both teams are going through with their pistol round.
Indeed, it looks like we are going to be seeing Tyloo start on the CT side, and IP going to be on the attack as we get this pistol round live. A lot of focus towards long A early on from NIP.
I have dropped the bomb down though, and still a couple players are shimmying their way across the mid. One's still in spawn, so Nip on the aggressing side with 2 flashes and 2 smokes. Do you have a P250 for Lecro? And get right, so at range they can really stand toe-to-toe with the Tyloo USPs. There's a kit for Excurate. And they've given up long control here, though, so they're playing more from catwalk side.
Indeed they are. So that means the A-bomb side will basically be forfeited, although Tyloo can certainly catch players on the cross. There's not really a smoke for Nip to cross with, so you can see them taking a little bit of heat here as they get into the bomb site, but they do get the bomb down. And now it's just going to be a 5-on-5 retake. Not something you see very often, but it's going to happen here and now. Can Tyloo roll it out? They don't have utility to flush people out of position. They have to rely on shots, and that's a good one from Bintet.
Definitely the player that you're looking out for to have a star performance for Tyloo, and he's carved another head. This time it is the stand-in of Peter. They're sent reeling away. They've got their hands on the bomb, and they do have a kit, and it's going down. This is looking like it's going to be the full defuse, unless Get Right can land this. He's only landing grazing shots, nothing that's going to stick. And Tyloo will get the full defuse underneath Sweden's nose. That is so brutal if you're a Nip fan. But they will concede the pistol round.
Yeah, this is a good play. I like that on pistol rounds when CT just gather up catwalk, because it allows you to catch the cross with long range on USPs if they do come long A. It also lets you be together to trade if it's in a cat attack, or you have a really fast rotate to B. So it's a really good setup, and Bintet just hits some blinders on players crossing from the catwalk. Again, as you noted, that's really the star of this team, their most consistent performer. A lot of the other guys are very up and down players, and Excur's really cooled off lately, so they really rely on Bintet a lot. Maybe Attacker can sometimes put up some big numbers as well. So it's a big time play to kick things off for Bintet. We do see Nip bought up a little bit. Get right actually on a hero AK.
Yeah, it does give them the 1 AK with some Kevlar. I mean, they're going to have to fiercely contend with Tyloo. And then the rest, yeah, next round, of course, everyone combined, he'll be dipped down to like a Desert Eagle. It's not going so well, but Forest has connected onto Summer, who was flashbanged and tagged up heavily from the AK-wielding Get Right before. Forest, with his Desert Eagle, going to be going back in for second. Smoke going to get thrown into Catwalk, cordon this off, but there are no more nades apart from one flashbang in somebody's hands, and he's looking like he may be the player that's going to get pressed. It would effectively be a 1v3 if they push it.
It's a good angle that he has, though. We'll nip check it. Usually you're going to be clearing right towards double stack, clear car, so they may not check the close left. And now we do see Excrete in position to help out as well from window. And if they don't check it, somebody steps out, lines him up. The UMP says you're out. And there you have it. Tyloo up 2-0 pretty quick and easy. Nip, though, able to still fully buy here thanks to the bomb plant first round and not investing too heavily in that previous. Force with AWP as usual. What I'm going to be curious to see is, will they actually slot Pita into Dennis's role and have him entry fragging with Rez up mid and Cat? Or will Lekro do that and then Pita go play B tunnels for Lekro? I think that would be the smarter play. But Pita's leading the charge here at long.
Through the Molotov, does land the headshot onto Excurate and survives to tell the tale.
Okay.
Not too shabby from the stand-in.
He's a manager.
A coach.
Had to get that meme in early.
Indeed. And we just need some Glocks to have the full complete meme set out.
Day soundboard incoming.
So now Get Right is going to be given the AK-47, and Peter will take the FAMAS from the corpse of Excurate. Plenty of firepower and nades still on the table, though, for the Chinese. I was going to say Chinese squad, but Bentet certainly isn't Chinese. So I'll take that one back. He is Excurate indeed.
We do see some aggression from Summer and beat him up with an AWP. That's fairly interesting. Also gives him a lot of information, for now at least, but he's about to get tested by a lot of terrorists, so he needs to get a shot and get out of there because he doesn't really have any assistance just yet. Somebody's tucked in the middle.
Summer playing this angle, should only be able to get the one kill. How has he managed to get two? That's ridiculous. And a third as well. Nipper not doing anything towards getting these avenging frags, and somebody alongside Summer will clean up the rest. How the hell does Summer get more than one frag? I cannot believe that. Oh my goodness. Nip have got to do better at avenging frag. The fact that he's off that complete off angle, I'm getting mixed up now. I can't believe what I've just seen.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. It makes sense he gets one kill and gets away. I can forgive that, but the fact that he re-peaks for two more is pretty insane. If you're a Nip, you've got to be trading that out. There are only maybe a handful of operas in the world that can do those close-range frags like that. Fallen was known for it in the past, Woxic known for it now, a couple of others, but that shouldn't be happening. And now it's just a cleanup for somebody pushing up middle. There's nothing for Nip to contend with. It's going to be another multi-frag. Somebody might even just ace. Summer had a 4K last round. Somebody wants something better in this one.
Macro, the Desert Eagle is always going to be scary, but they've put any of those fears to rest. Tyloo with 4-0 lead.
Dude, casting Tyloo is hard whenever you have somebody named somebody. It's like who's on first at that point.
Yeah, it is.
Imagine if you had somebody, nothing, and no one all in the same game, which no one's like a lesser known North American player, but yeah, that would be wild, wouldn't it?
And then the other two players just have like 10 letters put together. Nothing that rolls off the tongue. Peter tries the same again. This time, not going to work. He gets dealt with very quickly. And yeah, I mean, that entry frag from the round prior did nothing. So even when Nipper getting the first kills, they're conceding.
That's a tough one. The rest of NIP just kind of gathered up over towards B tunnels with Get Right patrolling middles. Looks like they want to take a stab here again. The problem is that there's two CTs here, including the AWP of Summer. That's a great entry, though, from Lekro.
Maybe able to get a second if they go for that repeat. Summer feeling the confidence from round 4. Gonna be to his detriment, his demise. One smoke gonna block out the doors, but Excurate's already perched up there. There's the Molotov. That's gonna deal with him. Actually, maybe not. I thought he may have landed too far behind him, but he still backs away, waits for the rest of his team to arrive. The downside here for Tyloo is they're all coming in one-dimensional. They're all pushing from the same angle. No one's going through tunnels. But is that flashbang going to be enough on the approach? Attacker is already making inroads back onto the site, and there's too many to Get Right to contend with. The upshot's with from Forest, but no, he doesn't get out on the second time of asking. That looked like it was dead on. Does finally get that headshot connecting, but now Rez is all that remains, and Tyloo have done it again. 5 rounds on the bounce. Nip's heart broken for the second or third time in a row. Rounds that should be theirs.
That was so well done by Tyloo on the retake. They did a great job peeking window and door together to kill the player inside the site. They also had a great smoke, which isolated the player Car from having anything to say about Tyloo streaming through. Able to get the player down at back platform. Forrest only allowing him 1 kill. Retaking B can be so difficult even in even number situations, but a great use of utility and timed peaks to get it done. And Nip's still no rounds, trying to challenge long, but they are getting busted by Attacker. Give him the big hurt special.
Wigs being split, cheeks being busted, and Rez has found Summer in fine form, as are Tyloo. You can't even put this down to Peter. He's got some kills. He's actually been having a bit of impact here. This is just Nip being comprehensively outplayed. That's a bit of a derpy Molotov. Goes straight into the smoke. Instantly extinguished. And speaking of Peter, he's been caught out in the open, and Bentet could be in for more. And indeed he shall. This unanswered streak of rounds continues. Nip desperate to get on the board.
And the bulk of these rounds, Tyloo aren't even losing members. That round they only lost 1. There's been a couple other rounds where they've only lost 1 or none. They've never lost more than 3. It's never really been close. And now the double AWP is still back in effect for Tyloo. There was lapse for a moment, but now it's back in action. There's nothing for Nip in this round. Man, we got that big hurt reference in early, Vince. That's like game 2 of the tournament. That was...
It felt apt, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Felt like the right time.
Yeah.
Well, Scouts and Desert Eagles pack a punch. But Tyloo have had an iron jaw so far, you've got to say. They've bounced back from any of those early hits that they've received. Here's a smoking play for Lecro if they want to try and smoke out CT. But it's looking like they're going to be perching up on Catwalk instead.
Man. Nip only have a combined 10 kills this half so far. Somebody and Summer alone have 8, so almost matching the entirety of NIP. It's not a great stat line to be on the losing end of.
How many times have we seen a team that's completely behind it somehow makes a poor buy work? Rez with 2 scout headshots, hungry for a third, but Bentet stands between Nips and this ace site. He's got an AUG as his trusty weapon, but gets obliterated. Honestly, misses a lot of bullets, and Letgro will punish him. Summer and somebody may pull the plug. Do they actually want to go for this? They've got some funds. They have taken casualties in prior rounds, though. Here comes the AUG. Somebody going to connect with the first headshot, but Summer's just watching for any exits at this stage. He's not helping his teammate out whatsoever. This may be not on the same page between the 2 remaining Tyloo players. Now they're going to be going in, but Get Right with a scout is going to make it work. And there we have it. Get Right finishes off. One of the worst buys that Nip have had yields their first round.
4 of their kills were off of a scout. Like, that's just so wild that that's the way you finally break Tyloo and get it around, is off of something wacky like that. But Rez getting 2 of his only kills this entire game. He's only gotten 3, but those were some impact frags with the scout to open up that A-bomb site. Something you can't really rely on, though, you have to say. That's kind of one of those crazy things. But Forrest gets gifted 1 at middle there from Summer, so finally NIP have another man advantage early. They haven't had many of these situations come up, so they need to capitalize.
Certainly do, and Summer has been one of their heaviest hitters with 8 kills. So him being sidelined is not great news. A second AWP has been picked up, but Peter wants to stick with the AK. This is more just keeping it away from Tyloo, so they can't get their second AWP back in play again. If they want to, they're gonna have to push onto Xbox to retrieve it.
And I was wondering if Peter would just take B tunnels to allow Lecro more action. But no, Peter's taking Dennis's role at middle as an entry with Rez, but Bentet has sniffed him out quite fast. Even the numbers back up. Still a minute left to play. Nip with the slight edge in a 4-on-4 as the rotates can be strained, obviously, particularly on this map where it's hard to read if it's going to be a spill out catwalk or a mid-B split once those stairs are forfeited by the CTs. Looks like NIP are wanting to test mid-B. They do like the mid-B splits quite a lot on this team, if I'm honest, from watching their games. So it's going to be no surprise that they're going to go for it now. But there's no assistance for somebody. Everyone's towards A side on his team, and they're trapped behind this smoke and CT spawn.
He is all alone on an island at B. Let's see if he can throw himself at life raft that he has. Somebody's coming with 2 and a third. Rez, let's try and carve up through mid. What a performance from somebody. Doesn't even die in the process. He's on 12 and 4.
That's so unreal. We talked about how isolated he was. That should be a damn near impossible defense for him. He should get 1 at best, maybe 2 if he's lucky. The fact that he struck all 3 through tunnels is unforgivable. This has happened multiple times in IP now. Before it was Summer with the AWP up close on tunnels. They are not trading efficiently at all on any type of consistent basis. Just that one long A push basically was the only thing that's gone their way. And then they had the scout round from Rez. Like these crazy antics are all they've had as a crutch. Tyloo are absolutely mopping them up. If you would have asked me what's the more one-sided game, Liquid versus Lucid Dream or Nip Tyloo, I'd pick Liquid Lucid Dream all day, but this game is looking way rougher.
Absolutely agreed with you. You have to remember though, Lucid Dream were 7-2 behind and brought the first half back. Maybe Nip can do the same. It doesn't look like it so far. Solid flick from Excurate. And then Tet's there to lend him a helping hand. Forest, the only player that's bounced back, but he's going to get 2. Pendulum of CS really starting to get heavily against NIP. Can Forrest bring it back? He's got 3 kills. And exquisite stuff so far. He's forced them back and made them respect his prowess enough to yield a potential bomb plant. But what is this? This is some 500 IQ calling. Is he going to go to B? This would completely wreck Tyloo.
It could. Summer could still catch this cross. At the very least, he'd get the information really early for Attacker to help him retake. Or he could just get the straight-up kill. But if he dies, oh, man. Oh, no. This opens the floodgates.
He's finished off the frag, and now Attacker's all that remains, and he's only got 24 health. Thus, this is so doable. Forrest going to peek again and connect. What a round, Vintage Forest.
What an ace from the veteran. This guy has been so good for so long. Not always a star, but almost his entire career could be regarded as pretty far above average, at least. Every now and then, he's so good for a play like that. A very intelligent player. So dangerous with his aim, and that was an effort. Dude, even though this game has been so lopsided and so weird, we have been gifted some really cool plays this game. You know, you got the Forest play, the Summer opping. This is just fucking wild, man.
There it is.
I get 1 a day.
Well, if there was a play
that was an accident, by the way. That just kind of slipped out.
If there was a play to justify, I think that would maybe be it. Like, that was absolutely nuts.
Fired, of course. You might not see me next game, chat. He's done it.
Well, what can you say about that? That is the kind of play that will inspire the rest of NIP. Plus, look what it does to Tyloo's economy. They're now into a half buy.
Dude, there's been so many crazy plays this game. I can't even.
But it's all well and good getting your adrenaline spike. You've got to continue the course. They are still well and truly behind. Make no mistake. They are at a big deficit here. This could still turn sour. They've got to keep their concentration going. They cannot afford to slip. Tyloo are a team that will punish you. They've heavily stacked mid to B as well.
The trap is definitely sprung, Vince, but will NIP fall for it? They have a lot of long A presence. An A split certainly could come in. They could bypass all of this, no problem. But if they actually go mid-B, an MP9, a CZ, some upgraded pistols, it could still be deadly. A death by 1,000 paper cuts type situation could unfold, but it looks like NIP are going to bypass it. They're outlawing with the bomb, just some presence middle. Lekro kind of faking some mid-B action here, but it's definitely going to be up A. They should be walking away with this round.
They're still being very cautious, though, showing respect to Tyloo. I know that there could be some weapons in play or pistols, and of course we know Counter-Strike can be quite a cruel mistress at times when it comes to pistols. Summer, CZ, gonna have a quick look, see if we can find some info, and gets it in the form of Get Right and Peter, chopping him down from long. Molly onto Catwalk, gonna yield a bomb plant, and as anticipated, it is gonna be a clear-cut round for the Swedes.
And how much Tyloo can really do here. Maybe use an attacker 4 with the MP9 to farm some cash and an exit frag. That's, no, never mind, not gonna happen. He's already down. So that's gonna be the show. NIP will get to 3. Money will be back next round though for Tyloo. And NIP have not really had any consistency on rifle rounds, if we're honest.
Lekro shaking around. It was a bit of an off spray, shall we say. Didn't quite whiff it 'cause he did get the kill, but
yeah,
definitely not the greatest of feelings. Bentet, last player standing, P250. Just going to give the rest of his team a bit of a respite, but it's going to be found from Peter, 7-3.
So what can Nip do now that the rifles are back from Tyloo? It's not going to be double AWP, though. It's just Excurate. And to be fair, two of these players are on FAMAS and somebody on a UMP, so they are not well equipped in this round. Only the one kit on somebody, so that could make things dicey on a retake. Pretty standard opening from NIP. No commitment either direction. Exactly what you'd expect for the default positions of these players.
It's looking very barren, though, in the utility front here for Tyloo Dust. Only 2 smokes remaining with 1 minute and 25 left on the clock. That is incredibly lackluster. No mollies either.
Gonna make retaking very difficult if that were to come into play, as Nip do go ahead and get control of stairs. So again, this is the perfect default. You have all your options open now. You've pushed back Cat. You can go A split. You can go mid B. Tyloo has no reads in this situation. They have to wait for you to strike first before they can start to rotate. Here's my question. Will they check this close corner? Somebody ruined them with the UMP from this angle a few rounds ago. You would think that should be in Nip's mind to check it. If they don't, somebody could still ruin this round.
Certainly, especially alongside Summer. Now he does have backup. Flashbangs through. Going to be a smoke in the eyes of Lekro, who goes out first. He does pre-aim the angle. And somebody had already moved out. But Peter going to get 2. They're standing. Always great to see. And Bentet, the only player for Tyloo that has bounced back with a kill of his own, has traded across to the AWP and is in close enough proximity that he could make this round sting quite a bit for Nip. But the other side of the coin, you want to save this AWP. You want to have some firepower going forward. Attacker will be silenced from res, so no rifles going alongside the AWP. The AWP will remain intact for the time being, but Nip are scurrying. They are sprinting towards Bentet. They want to make sure he does not take this sniper rifle out of the round. He's been spotted now. Actually misses that shot. I mean, he's not necessarily renowned for his sniping ability. He does connect it on the second time of asking, but he's going to get flanked from the right-hand side. Is get right, who else? And Bentet will squash him too. Solid work from Bentet.
Yeah, that's just a textbook mid-B split from NIP. Again, because they control Cat, because Tyloo weren't playing forward, they didn't have any intel. It's only the 2B defenders there. There wasn't really any assistance able to come through from CT spawn. And Nip had the perfect split through door, window, and tunnels. They don't let somebody up close pose a threat with that UMP. Now they have 4 rounds. They have Tyloo again on a save other than that saved AWP. So this is where Nip can really start closing the gap and start making this a close contest. They were getting steamrolled early on, but now they've had a resurgence. And you have to feel that, again, this is just kind of the repercussions of the new economy system.
The thing, it can certainly cause quite a bit of issue, but Lekro against the eco, spinning around like a turret, headshots left and right. Summer and Accurate can only sit and wait. Alright, do another one. Accurate has found Peter and dispatched of him. There's a low Lekro below him, so if the USB does connect, it's going to be a frag, but solid trace from Lekro onto the headshot angle. And Nip, they've done a very good job of bringing this back into the realms of possibility now. Tyloo must be shaking.
Yeah, they're probably not breaking a sweat just yet. This is a little bit more of a T-sided map most of the time, and they're still well out in front from their CT side. And they're back onto a full buy here with Augs aplenty and a 1-op on Excurate. Now, if they lose a couple of more rounds and allow Nip to take the lead, that's whenever they would start getting a little bit concerned. But so far, no need to sweat just yet. A lot of mid-challenging going on here early on, Vince. He's taking a lot of damage, though. In fact, none has been dealt yet.
That timing, though, and it's also the bomb. Someone's going to have to go up to contend with that, so at the very least it's going to cost them utility. Someone gets spammed up through the doors, though. Solid crosshair placement from Lekro, and any concerns I had have now been swept aside about the bomb placement.
This push B tunnel, if Lekro catches this, it's pretty much a done round. Somebody needs to figure out something. The problem is he's giving up the B bomb side. Everyone's coming through window, and now he's trapped, and Lekro gets the kill. The bomb will get planted, and Tyloo will just have to save the remaining 2 Augs. Great work from Lekro that round. Kind of a... I mean, I wouldn't put him next to like a Nitro or a Glaive or some of the other fragging game leaders, but he's pretty good. And also leading this team. So he's definitely somewhere among that class.
Oh, he's showing his worth for sure. There's no doubt. And I mean, I said at the time, was this the moment when Forrest pulled off his ridiculous clutch, that it would light a fire under the rest of NIP? Would it inspire them? And the answer is a resounding yes. Since then, they have gone on a massive win streak. I'm going to add one more round on the tally. Tyloo will be able to save both these weapons, you'd assume, as they're stacked up together. And it's only going to be Lekro that's facing him if he does come out of long doors, which I think he decides not to. Well, actually does, but Attacker deals with him.
Yeah, this is a problem, though. When you get a big lead on the CT side, 1, your guns are more expensive, and 2, you're working off of, you know, a 1-round loss bonus, whereas NIP was able to, you know, ride max loss bonus for a while, and even if they won 1, lost 1, they'd still have like 2,900 coming in. So, again, it's just the repercussions of the new economy system. You see a lot of comebacks now because of it, because the winning team almost gets punished.
A bit of an awkward confrontation in mid, but Get Right will get the upper hand. Experience paying off. And again, NIP not taking any prisoners. They're going straight through into the mid. Going to try and show some ruthless aggression. Forrest can hear the footsteps up on Catwalk and dispatches of Bentet with haste. Looking for another one. Can't quite strike twice. But has kept them at bay long enough for Peter to move in. And the stand-in's able to get the 1 frag for himself. But look at that bomb placement. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Attacker, how is he still alive? He must have iron in his shins surviving those bullets through the doors. Down to 2 HP. Is this Nate? No, and it's not going to finish him off. It bounces off the wall anyway. I don't think it could have gone deep enough regardless. That's a solid Molotov. Followed by a smoke. He's going to try and keep Attacker away.
Yeah, Lekro knows eventually he needs to get the kill or get the bomb. He's trying to challenge for the bomb. Attacker knows he needs to go for this kill because he's got such low HP. He's got to pull a fast one on Lekro, but Lekro gets away. All going to come down to timing.
The timing's not favoring Attacker so far. He's going to be able to get back onto the site, though. Must realize a heavy chance at A site being aggressed on. But he needs to get up here quicker. He needs to be able to take the risk that he can land that headshot. Not going to happen as of yet. Lekro spots him. Oh, the spray was so nearly off. He survives on 1 HP. Oh my goodness. NIP is so fortunate to get away with that.
Dude, this game could give fans a heart attack, I feel like, at this point. There's been so many wild plays. That's a super close moment. You think he should win that one clean with the low health Attacker has, but he gets him down to 1. That is ludicrous. And now it's the classic auto sniper final round of the first half of the T side, and Tyloo are like, man, they luck out, though. They've won the game of roulette.
Sure have. In terms of the start of this round, though, somebody is going to put Rez in his back pocket. Somebody and Summer really have been the shining beacons, but Bentet's starting to take off.
Yep.
And gather some momentum.
You can see what Rez is going for there. He thinks, oh, they've surely been slowed down by all the auto sniper fire. I should be able to get an entry into B, or at least have the advantage on the peak, but get silenced by somebody. So that was well done by Tyloo to defend against that. That can be very difficult to deal with this final round of the first half when all those auto snipers are ringing out.
Catwalk is where Tyloo have set up their home to defend A off. Extra at close range. Summer has given up B. They are biting down on this potential A hit. NIP maybe getting a bit telegraphed. Bentet spots Lekro, takes him off. The rest of this half, and now Attacker gonna be looking to line up and knock him down like a bunch of dominoes. The Swedes are being pillaged, but Get Right is gonna counteract with an AK frag of his own. He's gonna buy them up enough time to get this bomb planted. It is a 2v4 retake, but there's only 1 smoke between the 4 remaining CTs, but they've caught Forrest. Their timing not favoring him, wanted to trade weapons to be in better stead to hold the line. Get Right not able to turn the tides of this round, and Tyloo will at least end in finishing ways after 6 rounds on road to the Swedes. Will be 8-7 in the lead at halftime.
Again, another close first half when it's all said and done. Very much deja vu from what we saw on Liquid versus Lucid Dream. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be bringing you the second half, so stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
We are back. Tyloo and Nip both ready to duke it out once more. Second half, if you did just join us, Tyloo off to a rompant start, but Nip brought it back. However, Tyloo still with an 8-7 lead in this second pistol round. Everything to play for, Dust, and a lower bracket is beckoning for the team that concedes this map.
Yeah, and it's not a forgiving path to take. Again, if you can stay in the upper bracket and just make the finals, you're guaranteed at least the quarterfinals in this format. Whereas if you go to the lower bracket, only one team comes from there. That's extra games you must play. Definitely a trial by fire with the amount of good teams we have at this tournament. So that's why these best of ones are so important up at the top of the tournament. Let's see what Tyloo's going to do here on their pistol.
Can be pretty unforgiving as well, Dust. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure, and of course, Nip with Peter as opposed to Dennis has to be a talking point. Has to be taken into consideration, but they're going to be piling out now. Tyloo onto outside. Lecro and Get Right the both shimmied in with a killer piece. It's a complete disaster, though, of the duel with both players expending all their bullets, but it's Get Right that comes out ahead. And the bomb will go alongside Attacker, leaving Bentet in a 1-on-4. He's found his first victim, but now going to get traded off. No, he's not. Forrest with a couple of bullets, and Bentet just spun around and took him out. He's also juiced Rez, but Rez holds his line just about. If Bentet pulled off that frag, there was a very real possibility of the clock.
Yeah, he would have gotten to a winnable one-on-one depending on how much damage he took. So that was definitely scary. At first, dominant from Nip, but Bentet certainly made them have to work a little bit harder at it. They get the job done, though. They tie up the game right away. No bomb plant, so Tyloo would either force buy a little bit here or just take a full save and buy next. And then they're going to choose the more conservative option. In IP, lots of SMGs in play, 2 rifles. Rez, the one anchoring B per usual, spots one, knocks him down right away, about to spot a bunch more.
It's going to be a massacre. They're all lining up for it. Rez not going to miss out on these chances, and Forrest just chips in with an MP9 frag, which is going to be nice. Obviously, that's money in his back pocket. You get more for an SMG as opposed to the rifle.
And Tyloo now going to be fully buying. No AWP for Excurate, but still a capable rifler. Him, Bentet, and Attacker, usually the main control group is Summer and somebody. Typically going to be playing the edges of the map. Definitely a team that plays out Dust2 pretty standard. They do have some really good A attacks, though. I will say that Bentet and Attacker can be really assertive up middle and catwalk and really cause a lot of problems for teams. So that's something to be on the lookout for. Also curious how Peta will slot in, because Dennis did a lot of CT opping on this map. Will Peta do it, or will Forrest take over and Peta play B with the Rez? I want to see that once an out comes out for that team.
It's always exciting to watch Tyloo and their T-halves, though. They are an incredibly dynamic, interesting team. So expecting to witness some pretty explosive action. We've had our fair share of big moments already in this match.
Yeah, I think they're going to go for the cat drop down play. They like to run this play a lot where they'll smoke CT spawn and drop on the slope, and they send Bentet and Attacker up slope to attack A ramp, and they have a smoke on the long corner, so Get Right and Peta can't help Lecro. So I think that's what they're actually going to run here. They like this play, and I think that's coming up.
Well, tossed in for Lecro just to try and shield the approach, allowing these grenades to really rip and tear through Tyloo, shred them to pieces. Flashbangs being utilized to devastatingly strong effect with the grenades following them. Did a good job of stalling and stymieing this push, but now the floodgates will open and Bentet's going to oblige with 2. Can't get a third, but Forrest is the last man standing on the site. Very slow reaction from Rez, I've got to say. He was still on B site waiting for a push, even though carnage was ensuing on the A site. Now, realistically, there's not much he can do. It's looking like Tyloo will strike in this second half for the first time.
That was actually some big mind games going for Tyloo. Tyloo threw the smokes that would normally send Bentet down the slope like I was referring to, but instead of taking that initiative, he actually just sat back on the catwalk and he waited for Nip to respond, and when they started coming towards car and corner, expecting a player to have been dropped, Bentet just kind of feeds from the top, gets 2 big kills. So I like that. Like, Tyloo was kind of, again, throwing a curveball, kind of taking something they typically do that Nip would maybe have a read in, and then doing a variation of it that really punished Nip on the fallback. So that was pretty nifty stuff.
Again, though, it's can Tyloo continually apply the pressure? Can they keep it up? 1 round's all well and good, but you got to connect the dots. Khalil in the hands of Bentet. And that's the Peter, but Electro has broken the deadlock in the first few moments. Onto Summer with the Org at long range. They're going to try and pile through long. That's where the corpse of their teammate currently is. Able to at least force away Nip, but there's 3 players still on A. And of course, the casualty has gone against Tyloo in this encounter.
Again, one of those early round spawn-based play skirmishes that really plagued Dust2. It can be very unforgiving if you're on the losing end of that. Just a 3-on-3 DM, but Lekro comes out on top and they fade back. Tyloo do keep one player along and get the other 2 players towards middle, but they got to deal with Get Right playing aggressive on the catwalk, and Lekro's there for support. They have some very capable players in Bentet and Attacker to try to open this up. They have to do so with limited resources.
Timing on the side of Attacker, Get Right hopping up and down, maybe anticipating some flashbangs, but Lekro gonna hold on, gets his second of the round. It's a 3-on-3, but the HP certainly in favor of Nip, with somebody in Bentet oh so low, and also is that Excurate, but Bentet has himself the head of Peter. Somebody is waiting for this rotation, and will catch them in transition, but Rez again, rotating from B, should have had the kill to Bentet, especially as he's low. He does have a smoke for the cross, and if he can get up onto the A site, things can get quite interesting with the defuse kit. Love to have a nade, love to have a Molotov or something to use, and of course it's easy from our perspective. What a headshot that is on to Bentet. Let me say it's easy from our perspective, but he doesn't know if that second player's in catwalk. Now he's seen with a ball planted, it's not the reason, but there's the taps and extra, it's gonna connect. Just about Tyloo hold on.
Oh, that's such a stressful situation when the smoke goes down. It's just guesswork from that point forward. You have to get a bit fortunate. He did very early on. Tyloo get another round. Again, it's that tag team duo of Bentet and Attacker. The entries were so strong. Also, Excurate timed his long push so well. Once it started losing players, they had to respect Cat. That means they had to leave themselves vulnerable for long, and Excurate perfectly exploited it to help get that site. It got dicey later, but they won it. And now they have Nip on a full save, a chance to extend to 11. They're starting to grab control back in this game, Vince.
Getting a stranglehold for sure. Nip, no real hope. Not getting anything done here in round 20. Forest tag, no nade, no creative pistols, nothing to speak of. Tyloo overextend though and start taking the fight to a potential stacked mid. Things could get a bit spicy for Nip, but be taking it pretty slowly and carefully. There's Bentet just going to pad his stats a little bit more. On the left-hand side are 2 CTs. This Molotov's going to force them out into the open, and Attacker is going to oblige with 2 frags. A clean sweep for Tyloo, who now take a 2-round lead.
Lekro will be able to buy an AWP and perhaps pass it to Forest. Forest typically plays a B rotator position, though. He can challenge at mid sometimes with AWP, and Lekro can sometimes anchor B with an op, so I'm curious to see which course of action they'll take. Excurate finally has an op for Tyloo. And I think they'll just keep up the standard stuff, man. You're going to keep seeing Bentet and Attacker tag teaming up at middle and Cat. We could see that drop-down play come out later on that it's going to be hard to deal with if you're in IP, but they're actually charging middle so fast. Tyloo's showing you some of that explosive nature.
This is what we love to see. This is why Tyloo was such an invigorating team to watch. Flashbang over. Nothing slow about this round. Caution thrown into the wind, but Peter is going to get 2, nearly a third, and not connect. What a performance from this man on B's site. People thinking Nip were done, but Peter stands tall with 3K, giving Nip a chance at a retake. And Nip think the second players around here in mid. They find him. It's somebody. Did get the 1 kill before he drops out. Excurate. It's the last man standing for Tyloo. He's in the corner. He's got the open. Forest has the laser precision with the M4. Take about Peter. Phenomenal hold.
Dude, I feel like this game's about to just take over the CSGO subreddit. We've been gifted with so many crazy individual plays. I can't tell you how labored of a play that has to be for Peter. You're getting attacked mid-B, which is already hard, but the pacing at which Tyloo did it, I don't think Nip were ready for it. But Peter somehow is still able to respond with a hat trick on the site. That is just incredible stuff from him. He hasn't had the biggest numbers overall, but he's had a couple of big rounds this game that have made you really kind of bat your eyes an extra few times.
This time the aggressive play outside of Long's not going to yield anything apart from a Nip kill. Tyloo hoping for the best. Bentet maybe anticipating the Molotov would spread to him. Want to take the flight to Nip, but it's going to cost him his life. Now Tyloo, they're all bunched up in mid with no real hope of getting anything done. He's gonna find extra. There's the flank from Get Right. Classic play in CS. Leaving attacker in lower tunnels. And Dust, I'm gonna go ahead and say he has absolutely no hope of getting this clutch.
I mean, we've already had a lot of big plays this game, Vince.
He ain't no Forest, dude.
I would love to see it, though. We all would. Let's be honest. We're a little bit biased towards the 1v5. Probably not going to happen, but I'll welcome it.
Everyone loves an underdog story. He has got the first solid kill, but again, it's where the bomb's located that's the real issue. It's not just the 1v5. If you have the bomb, it's one thing. But the bomb's in such a horrible, close-knit angle. There's Get Right again. Up on the spawn side, 11 apiece.
We're all tied up, Vince, and money's low for Tyloo, so it looks like Nip's going to start taking a little bit more control in this game. They still have double AWP in effect. They're starting to build up their reserves when it comes to cash. Tyloo, just some upgraded pistols and one smoke grenade from attacker, maybe to just charge middle with. Or maybe up cat, that could be an Xbox smoke he's thrown. Either way, they're going to have some miracle deagle headshots to be able to cause any real disturbance in this round. It should be Nips.
These are the kind of rounds that you can't afford to slip or even get close. This is also an economy building sort of round as well. When Get Right and Peter are both pretty low, get this clean, get it easy. Don't take any unneeded risks. Summer could maybe get the drop on Forest, and indeed he has. He's shown his hand now, though. They know where he is. They can afford one death. Damage being inflicted. Rez will finish off. They're going to pick up that secondary up as well. So Nip take the lead again.
And Nip have now won 3 in a row, so starting to get their mojo here on the second half. But Tyloo know they're up against double AWP, and this will be the perfect time to call the cat drop-down play, which is something Tyloo love to run and can counter ops really well, because ops have to usually just peek high with the crosshair plays to watch the cross, but then you get in their face on the corner and they have to make a drop shot type deal. So that is what I'm expecting to see, but we could also just see Tyloo going for these explosive long A control plays. So they could even go for pit isolation. They have a smoke on the corner already. Get Right doesn't have any assistance. It's a focus cat.
Doesn't need back up either, though. The auto, I thought he would have had 2. Didn't even tag the second player. TS Gold.
Look at Peta, though.
Progression, yeah. Confident plays, getting round the back of Tyloo. This is the kind of play that Get Right would do, and with him being dead, they may not anticipate the second player going for the lurk.
Somebody could flank Peta as well, so
somebody's found Lecro. Yeah, they're all going to be the flanky becomes the flanked. He's up with 1, trying to tap into a second. There's no way he's going to anticipate this. Surely not. Down he goes to the hands of Summer. And with Rez stranded in tunnels, there is surely not going to be a retake in. It does seem sometimes Nipper very slow to rotate from B side. I will say that, but it's like he's actually perching up for a potential retake, and he's got that first kill cleanly for free almost against somebody. There's still a smoke there. It's going to allow him a little bit of maneuverability. Flashbang in and the headshot out, and Stewart has been bodied by Rez. And now Summer has to try and hold off. There's still utility, there's still kits in play, and Forrest goes for the peak. Is there enough time? It's going to be very close, but you betcha there is. What a retake from Nip. Rez with some ridiculous shot.
This is just so unreasonable, Vince. Like, what in the world is going on in this game? Yeah, time out! It's like Space Jam right now for Tyloo. The Monstars are getting crushed over here on rounds they really should be closing. I thought that was like the battle of the flank. Summer flanking Peta. Peta only gets 1 kill on his flank. It's looking so good for Tyloo, and somehow Nip just slowly roll out that retake. And I'll be honest, Vince, for a second there, I don't even know that they were committing to the retake. It felt like they just got that 1 quick kill upstairs and then they decided to go for it. But if that hadn't have gone their way, they certainly back off. I mean, that's crazy that they, again, they just kind of slowly rolled into that retake and made it work. They didn't commit to it fully.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where I think you leave it hanging out there, and if you get that first kill in the first 5-10 seconds, you commit. If not, you just pull back and save. When Rez gets the pick on Catwalk, that's the green light. Okay, we're going in. It's a 2v2.
What do Tyloo have up their sleeve, man? They're starting to run out of money. They're running out of rounds. Nip are, you know, won now 4 in a row. Tyloo need a spark to get back in this. They challenge mid, nothing there. They fade back towards Catwalk. They only have limited amount of utility, though, to attack into this A-bomb site.
They need one of those forest plays. They need an inspirational moment here if they're going to pull this back. Not a great flashbang from X-Grip, but it's not going to affect them too much. No one's peeking from long. Actually, Get Right's very forward in the doors of long. So they're going to have to wait for this rotation to come in. Pete is still on the B side. Rez was hoping to carve out ahead to at least give them the advantage in this retake. Not going to be happening. So need to move in together. Get Right is actually going to be coming round the back of long, or at least he's anticipating it, but someone is there to deal with him. Doesn't get the kill, but does force him back onto long. So that's going to give information to the rest of Tyloo now that one player's on long. But Peter, of all players, comes in and connects the headshot. But there we go. The door is slammed in the face of courtesy of Bentet, an attacker. And it was someone that saw Get Right here before. And he is going to go straight back in and finish off the rest. 12-13.
Big round from Tyloo. They got so fortunate on that. Nip had a little bit of a lean more towards middle and B, so they actually only had one player on cat and one player long. Typically, when you have 2 players A kind of by themselves with no rotator, they typically play together, like double up on cat, give up long, or maybe you fight for long control, kind of temporarily give up cat and let your CT spawn rotator kind of float back up to cover that. But instead, yeah, they just played really split up. I think I didn't get to see the entry Bentech got, but I think the one CT cat may have been playing kind of that angle on the railing where you take a shot and then you drop down, but he got caught. That was a big entry because Nip weren't really in position to rotate to deal with that, so they had to play for retake. Get Right did maintain control of long A, which is nice. You really need that to have any hopes of the retake, but they still just didn't have the kills come in. Tyloo, again, caught a really fortunate window there and made the most of it. And now it's a really tight game. Both economies are so fragile at this state. And the rounds, they're down to the wire now.
Tyloo know they are definitely backs against the wall, but if Nip concede this, they are going to be looking at a very solid potential of an eco if they can't save a bunch of guns here. So this really is on a razor's edge. So close. Could go either way. Gonna be smoking out CT to try and get some mid control. And that's bad news for Peter, who's situated on B by himself with only a 5-7. We saw him get a 3K before. Can he go one better? No. Does at least get a 1-for-1 trade, but with 4 players stacked over at 8, means they can save in bulk if Nip decides to do so.
Oh, somebody almost got caught there on the edge of the smoke, but able just to get away. So they keep the 4-on-4 post plant. Again, retaking B, so difficult. No real utility to do it. Money is so low for an IP. They need to save these 4 guns, so they will concede. Tyloo ties the game. And I just feel like Tyloo is just winning the rock, paper, scissors lottery. Like, they've read into almost every kind of stack that Nip have had. Every time Nip have gambled an extra player towards one side of the map, Tyloo always seem to be finding their way on the opposite end of that. And they use it to close the gap. This has been such an intense game, Vince. All the individual plays, some of the close rounds, some of the wild antics that somehow players have pulled off when odds are against them. And now it all comes down to these final few rounds where money is in the toilet for really both teams, to be honest.
Been an incredibly interesting, exciting match to commentate, but I bet Nip and Tyloo fans have their head in their hands right now. It must have been quite the heartbreaking experience. So many rounds going the way you would not anticipate. So many clutches, so many big plays. But here we go. We're all tied up at 13 apiece. As a result of the save, they still have some firepower, but a lack of nades. They don't decide to pull the trigger behind it. They're playing for the longer haul, the bigger picture.
You see Tyloo staging up on catwalk, a couple of players towards long as well. This could finally be that cat drop down play, but it could also just be attacker and Bentet swinging cat and hoping for entries on the site. Can Nip hold? They have players in really good positions for this, though the mollies could flush out the player in Goose. So they need to be careful. But here comes the attack from Tyloo.
Lecro pull off a majestic play. There's the first. He sees the player dropping in, goes in for seconds, and nearly line up for him. Both players really whiffing pretty hard on that spray. Bentet and Extra are gonna have their HP bars vanquished as a result. Bentet down to just 10 HP, and the bomb is also dropped out in a horrible spot for Tyloo. They can't afford to get on top of this. What a play for Rez again, spinning round. Easy indeed. Nip regained the lead again.
And that was the cat drop-down play we felt was always on the horizon. We knew that it was kind of the ace up Tyloo's sleeve that they love to pull out, and you feel like Nip probably knew that too. And so when the utility starts pouring in, Nip were well prepared. They had a player on site, a player Goose. Yeah, Molly's came in, but they were able to handle them just fine. I think it was really important. I think it was Lecro caught the first player that dropped so fast. He didn't get any forward momentum on his drop. That was a big kill. And also, Pyjamas had this really good timing on the CT spawn smoke to step out and assist and get a big kill as well. Obviously, Rez with a nice little double at the end. So a big defense from Nip there. Helps them get their economy back in order for these final rounds. Tyloo still mustered up a bye, but attacker just on the Galil and no utility. It's a big hit.
Damage has been inflicted. It is indeed a massive hit, especially considering there is still ordnance in the hands of Nip. So that puts Accurate into dangerously low territory now in the first few moments of the rounds. Could have been worse. He could have been outright fragged, but it is going to put him on the back foot alongside Tyloo.
What do Tyloo do now, man? I feel like they were relying on that drop play to work. Like, that was kind of their last-ditch effort, so to speak. Now they just have to rely on brute force and speed. Tyloo nature. That's a big one from Excurate.
That's a good way to counteract his low HP as well. Now puts the pressure on Nip. Pito, who's typically on the B site, now going to take A for himself, and he's going to be effective in his defense, but he's going to get traded out. Get right with the Orc. Doesn't get greedy. Gets the one kill and pulls back. Forrest's going to connect the headshot onto Excurate. The bomb goes down. There's still plenty of time, though, for Tyloo. They don't have to force the issue just yet, but someone's going to go for that plant with the smoke still up and plume. It will start to dissipate momentarily. Rez joined with Forrest, going to be looking to retake through Catwalk and actually Get Right, who was pontificating on a potential A-long retake, now going to come with the rest of his brethren. They're all going to be pushing on Catwalk together. No, Get Right decides to go into CT instead. They don't know about long presence. This is forcing away one of the two defenders of somebody out onto long, but some is still going to strike with one. Forrest straight back in again. Time is dwindling away, but Get Right's connected with the Orc. They're going to be able to get on the site in time and defuse, and Nip now going to have 2 match point.
That's just Nip with a textbook retake, using their numbers appropriately, even though they're not necessarily at long A. That's the fact that they could be. And the way that they were just peeking together is exactly what you need to be doing to close out rounds where you have the man advantage. That was so well done from Nip. Again, great play from Pita. After Lecro goes down on kind of a weird peek towards Cat that seemed to give Tyloo an opening, he gets a kill and gets an incendiary down, which buys time for Get Right to swing back and assist. He gets his 1 kill, but doesn't overcommit, falls back, maintains long A control, denies that from Tyloo, and then it's just all about the retake game. And again, Nip flexing that 1-man advantage appropriately, really disciplined retake, and now they're 1 round away from what they stand in a very intense game, still pulling out the victory to stay in the upper bracket. What can Tyloo do to try to force an overtime? There's not many resources there for them in this round. A lot of Galils, no AWP, 1 SIG, limited utility. And they are on a massive losing streak, it feels like this hat. They've only won 2 of the last 8.
2 smokes at their disposal, a plethora of flashbang, but not gonna get you past a lot of the chokeholds of Dust2. Where do they come down though? Where do they throw in the Hail Mary? Flashbang really connects onto themselves. Actually, nearly lost them a bit of team damage as well. More of a split attempt here though, Dust. There's 2 players going on Catwalk. The rest of them are maintaining. And Total, what a shot from Forrest! A bit of an off angle, not anticipating Excurate to drop down from there, but still connects the shot all the same.
And the defense is well situated for B, and Peta's not too far away to assist. He could get caught by Bentet in middle. That could be the way in for Tyloo, but they need these entries on B as well.
Lecro's gonna get 1. Enough time to put another bullet in the chamber and connects onto Summer. That should be all she wrote for Dust2. Bentet, try as he may, cannot contend with Nip. And with Pita, they have got it done. 16-13. They weather the storm.
Man, oh man, we're already being gifted a fantastic game. We're only 2 games into the first day of the group stage. That was quite the display from these two teams. What a battle on Dust2, almost as close as it gets. Thank you oh so much for tuning in here on the secondary stream. We still have a lot more Counter-Strike to go, 2 more best of ones and 2 more best of threes before this day is wrapped up. Go ahead and if you want to, hit exclamation point casters in chat if you want to give us a follow. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the next game coming up here shortly. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be back in